What is up, guys? Today we're going to be taking a look at the best junglers this patch. The first thing I want to say is that junglers are really good at the moment, so there are a ton of good picks flying around, and these are just really my opinion on the best overall for climbing as a jungler. We're going to kick this off with Shyvana. The meta is shifting way more into everyone playing high damage carries. The best way of dealing with that is really having someone who can do damage while being tanky enough to absorb their damage. Devour really fits this kind of playstyle. It does take a little bit longer to ramp up, but we can easily get away with just building that and then a lot of defense to kind of keep us alive. She has a really good clear, and that is a big part of why she doesn't fall off at all. She has really high farm, and the Devourer makes sure her late game and her mid game are really strong. It kind of gets to a point where people are going to struggle to kill you while you're running around killing everyone easily. Deadman's offers defense and offense, and I actually think it's a really good item on Shyvana. It helps you even more catch people and keep them around while you kill them. Honestly, she's pretty simple to play and to win with. She doesn't require too many mechanics, and really it's just farming to get items, then running around killing everyone. You might be surprised with this pick, but just give her a shot. I think you'll be surprised at how strong she is right now. The one problem you are going to have is that she isn't the best ganker, but actually not as bad as people think she is either. There are two parts to ganking really. You need some damage and some crowd control, and she has that damage part. You just need to time it right to make sure they can't get away from you. Now, number 4, Nidalee is one of the best examples of these carries that just run around killing everyone with a ton of damage. You aren't really that tanky, you don't offer much utility apart from your heal, but you have so much damage it doesn't even matter. You have high poke damage, which keeps her relevant when you're grouped in team fights, and a very good mobility in ganking, kind of one of the highest early pressure junglers actually. When you're ganking, you have really high damage and a long gap closer, which means it's really hard to get away from you, but also for these reasons she's really good at invading too. Runic Echoes is amazing on her. It speeds her clear up, it gives her so much damage. Like, it's pretty much all you could ask for in an item for Nidalee. The reason she's actually so good at the moment is because she's kind of a mix between assassin and poke. Like, assassins tend to fall off a little bit in team fights, but Nidalee at least has a backup plan of poking people down if she doesn't snowball. This snowballing is really ideal for solo queue at the moment, and she's very good at it. You kind of want to make the most of the enemy team being split up in their lanes. You want to gank over and over, catch them alone, and just kill them. If you think about it, really, Nidalee is only as good as the person playing her. Like, a good Nidalee is really hard to beat. She'll have really high impact, but a bad Nidalee is gonna suck balls and do absolutely nothing. So number 3, Graves. He may be at number 3, but all 3 of these are now top tier. There are two things, okay? So one, he's almost definitely getting nerfed next patch, which means I don't really want to place him any higher. And number 2, he doesn't fit into every comp. You ideally need a tanky support and top laner, and the meta is shifting into everyone more playing carries. That doesn't really fit with Graves. It doesn't really work for you, and that is going to make it harder to pick him every game and still be successful. Your Q does do insane damage, especially when you're next to a wall, and you can actually outplay people pretty easily because they don't expect the burst damage. Your jungle clear is crazy strong. Your E helps with that. The pushback is going to help with your shotgun. You basically take no damage and you do it very quickly. Apart from his ganks are pretty strong, his high damage, when we get into team fights, he has a lot of AoE damage. He can outplay people. He has a smoke screen, which is really good utility, and it can actually zone off carries, which is definitely underrated. It's not just that Graves is too strong either. It's actually like the items he's building are in a really good place too. Like Ghostblade and more have a lot of base armor pen attached to them, which works really well with Graves' kit and kind of just boosts his damage over the top. Now, I can't believe I'm actually going to stick Udyr at number 2, but yeah, here we are. This guy has come out of nowhere, but he is wrecking solo queue right now. He's basically exactly what I said at the start of this video, tanky with a ton of damage, so he's hard to kill, but he's going to kill you. Now, I'm not joking either, but there are 2 builds for him, okay? This one is kind of normal. You have Devourer or Cinderhulk, Triforce, and then you build tanky. Or we can give Runic Echoes a go. Yup, the new AP jungle item. Udyr's Phoenix stance is what we max now, and that scales with AP. Runic Echoes makes that clear amazing, and we just do so much damage. We don't need to go full AP, okay? We're not building a death cap or anything like that, but I am actually finding this does way more damage than Devourer, at least early to mid game. In general, he's probably the most irritating champion to play against. He's so fast, you can never catch him unless he wants to fight you, and then there's no escaping him. He's very tanky, especially with his turtle stance. He has high damage and pretty good burst damage actually with Phoenix stance, which is really like an AD carry, a mid laner's worst nightmare. He only gets stronger as the game goes on, and he gets more and more items. Swiftness boots are also really good on him, and it makes him very hard to kite at all. The main reason he wasn't hadn't picked more before was because you could just lock him down and he'd never reach you. Like, you can kite him and kill him, but that just doesn't happen anymore. Alright, number 1, Elise. Elise is the most well-rounded jungler and the best to reliably climb with. That is why she's at number 1. Now, I'm not joking when I say Elise has so much damage, and a lot of it is base damage, because Korea have actually even started to play her as a support again just because she bursts the enemy AD carry so easily. She basically has everything you want, okay? High damage while building tanky, some safety with her repel, and crowd control to either gank or catch people mid-game. This is one of the reasons why I think she's like a better version of Lee Sin at the moment. Like, Lee Sin has really good early pressure just like Elise, they have good damage, but then when we get to team fights, Elise doesn't fall off. She still has good crowd control, she still has really relevant damage, and is very tanky. As far as junglers go, if you just want to be picking one thing over and over to get comfortable with it and then climb with it, Elise is pretty much perfect for you. She does everything you want, she fits into any comp, and she definitely is a really strong pick right now. Okay, honorable mention time, and as I said, there are a ton of good junglers right now, so I'm just going to pick a few. Kindred could honestly easily replace Shyvana on this list, and at higher reload she probably would. Kindred is very low health and actually quite hard to have an impact on really, but if you are good with her, then you can do some serious damage. She doesn't really fit into every comp, kind of like Graves, and she isn't as reliable, which in my opinion doesn't make her top tier. We mentioned Lee Sin already, right? Very similar to Elise and Nidalee here actually. He basically does the same stuff those two do. Well, actually we kind of already know what he does because we see him all the time. The problem is Lee Sin is harder to have an impact on later into the game than these two. Sure, if you're a Lee God you can insec and kill everybody, but that's realistically not going to happen often. So yeah, he's an early game god and you can snowball the game out of control, but he isn't as effective later, so in my opinion kind of more riskier pick. Right, Rengar did get nerfed this patch, and maybe I'm crazy putting him on here, but I still think he's a powerhouse, especially at lower elo. I don't think he is as good as he was, and it's a little easier to outplay him, but honestly when you have Boots and Ghostblade you won't even notice the exclamation mark nerf. Marci is another up-and-coming jungler, a lot like Udyr and Shyvana really. The biggest difference is that he doesn't get tanky much at all, you just rely on killing everybody so quickly they can't kill you. He's very easy to play, he's high damage, but he's very high impact, and the only thing you have to worry about really is the right time to jump into a fight. Anyway, that wraps up my best junglers for this patch. Let me know what you guys think, remember to like, subscribe, comment, share, but for now, I'll leave you with the robots.